will wait for you, and I'll do anything that you want me to. Just let me into your heart. Let me into your heart. Just let me into your heart. Let me into your heart.
I have only good news. Welcome, guys. Thank you for tuning in, showing up. I appreciate it.
God damn it.
Got me right out the gate. I want to believe that's pronounced Geest. I feel like it should be. Why do I also, though, feel like it could be G East _ welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the new follow. I appreciate it. Also, Caden Meyer, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the new follow. And King Sean, welcome back, I think. If so, long time no see. How's everybody doing? That is a receipt that I need to hold on to. All of my receipts go in the receipt drawer. You know what else goes in the receipt drawer? All of my bottle openers, all of my wine tools, a few knives, some D&D minis. It's basically my packet drawer. Yes, it is. It is... Which... It's Geest. I feel like I may end up just tying my hair back. Because it has a life of its own today. Oh, no. I was recording a series of videos before I went live. I recorded 3 videos all about egg white cocktails. And now I'm worried that I got egg whites in my hair. Well, you know what? Egg whites are probably good for your hair. Maybe, probably, hopefully. We'll see. If my hair doesn't fall out, then egg whites are good for your hair. Camera 4. Get that side view. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's comfortable. That's not too tight at all, clearly, as it pulls on my scalp. The first one. Okay, so it was Geest then. Cool, cool. This I need to not forget to take home with me. Whew. Alright. I feel like I'm gonna have to just like hose everything off because I don't know what I got. Hannah, how's it going? Welcome, thank you for tuning in. I don't know what I got egg whites on, so we'll see how that goes. Do I have anything that I can use to... Ah, yeah, okay. I thought so. There we go. Just in case I got any eggs or anything on the counter while I was recording. It's the not so glamorous side of bartending. Everyone likes to talk about how you make drinks and make people happy. No one likes to talk about how difficult it is to keep everything clean. I don't know how that managed to straddle evenly between, like, a really weird Philly accent and also, like, Rick Sanchez. Okay, good. I feel better now. Also, everything smells piney fresh. How are you? I'm doing well. Just tired. It's been a pretty good day, like, all in all. I just kind of had to sprint, in a sense, for the last 2.5 hours, I think. This is going to be the easiest bit of content stuff that I do today. Also, big, like... The thing with egg white cocktails is that they all need to be shaken twice, like 2 different ways. They need to be dry shaken, where you only shake the liquid ingredients. I know that's counterintuitive because it's dry. It's called dry shaking because you're not adding ice, so you're not actually adding any dilution. You're not making the drink more wet. Then, after you dry shake it, then you add ice and you shake it again. So, it feels more like you made 6 cocktails. And when you're dry shaking, you need to beat the hell out of the eggs. What drinks are you going to be making? I am not sure. I guess that's kind of up to you guys. I, though, am all out of eggs. I had to make 3 drinks with eggs for my videos. I only had 3 eggs to begin with. Y'all do the math. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make another egg white cocktail, unfortunately. As far as new things that I have behind the bar, I have amaretto now for the first time, so I would say that we could try and do like an amaretto coffee style cocktail, except that it is it's like past 7:30 p.m. so I don't really want to have any more coffee. I've already been overly caffeinated today. Are my LEDs on? Yeah, okay, cool. How many cocktails can you make in the span of 5 minutes? A lot. A whole lot. Cocktails are not that hard to make. They do not take that much time. But also, I'm not going to make a bunch of cocktails for free because that's a waste of product. I'm also not going to drink a bunch of cocktails during this live stream for free. But yeah, I'd make a bunch of vodka sodas. Just like I would line up every single glass that I have. You know how many cocktails I could make in 5 minutes? I would say almost 30. More if you include shots. No alcohol. Take a sip of that Coke in the back. Ooh, speaking my language. Some Coke. There's actually stuff in here. Oh, some Coke flair for everybody. None of that spilled. None of it. Not at all. It did. You guys just didn't see it. Taking a sip of the Coke actually sounds like such a good idea. For my video, I opened up a bottle of Stella Artois. I cannot bring myself to finish it. It's really good when it is bracingly cold. When the beer is like incredibly frigid. The reason for that though is that the colder it is, the less you can taste it. So of course, when it's like room temperature, it just smells awful. It partially because it's kept in green glass. I could make a rum and Coke. I've been having fun with those recently. On my live streams, anyway. It's actually kind of flat. What actually? Now I'm thinking about it. I think there's coloring added to this. There's like a chemical, like, backbone. We hope you enjoy our family's handcrafted, authentic Italian-American liqueur. Okay, yeah, fire away. Why not? We called it Grandma's Scal's Amaretto. Grandma Scalabrino was a part of the Greatest Generation. Fun fact, by the way, did you guys know that the Greatest Generation was actually called the Worst Generation by their parents? More on that later. What is your favorite cocktail to drink? I like Manhattans and daiquiris mostly. Manhattans if I want like a boozy stirred cocktail, daiquiri if I want something shaken and refreshing. We know that this unique family treat will put a smile on your face, just as it has many of the privileged guests who joined Grandma in conversation and libation. From our family to yours, saluti and grazie. It's probably a family that can't pronounce mozzarella correctly. But you know what? Whatever, that's okay. I mean, it's fine marketing. That's all the back label is. I mostly picked it up because it's made in North Carolina. How does coloring affect the drink and, like, the smell? It gives it, like, a chemical sort of scent, in my opinion. And if you don't treat it properly, basically you have to do something to the drink to mask that smell. So that affects the entire drink, obviously. Actually, it's appropriate that I just finished a whole series of videos on egg white cocktails. Lucid Dreamer, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the new follow. I appreciate it. Also, JD, welcome. Thank you for the new follow earlier. I do appreciate it. When you have those astringent flavors and smells, one of the common things to do to mask those is to add egg whites. They actually did this during Prohibition, way back. It wasn't the introduction of egg whites to mixology and cocktails, but they ended up using egg whites to mask the flavor of bootlegged imitation liquor. So during Prohibition, because it was hard to get authentic liquor in the US, they would take moonshine, essentially, and do different things to change the color and change the flavor. And those additives meant that they had to have something else in there to mask the inferiority of the quality of the product. It also killed a lot of people because the things that they were putting in there for color and flavor weren't always, safe. Man, love your content. Sorry, I never knew you stream on Twitch. Oh, that's fine. No worries. Thank you for tuning in, though. I appreciate now, right? That's the big thing. And thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. But yeah. After Prohibition, though, the reason that egg whites are still prevalent in some cocktails now is because advanced mixologists, kind of realized that you can still use egg whites to cover astringent flavors, but rather than masking unwanted flavors in cocktails, you can actually use them to balance what would otherwise be really intense flavors. So you can use egg whites to balance things like rye whiskey and like absinthe and like bitters and like all of these things that should be really big players. They should be really tough flavors to balance. When you wrap all of those in like nice pillowy fluffy egg whites, it's kind of like dressing up all of the ingredients in like satin robes and like cashmere sweaters, whatever your preference is. Cubix, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Or welcome back, I should say. How's it going? Where do you learn all this alcohol history? Once upon a time, way back, this was actually a really long time ago, I had something, I had a lot of something, and that thing was free time, and I don't have that anymore. But most of what I learned, I actually learned while I was bartending. I learned a lot from guests, and from the people I was working for, and from some of the people I was working with. I learned a lot from other bartenders. When I would go out to drink, I would just ask questions, but so much of the information and the theory that surrounds mixology and occupies mixology is so apocryphal, meaning that it's like, it's kind of been lost to time. It's hard to find like one concrete, coherent source for any of the information that you learn in regards to like alcohol history and mixology. So you kind of take everything with a grain of salt, like use what works for you, and whenever you're trying to inform somebody, let them know that you're not the arbiter of any of that information. It's the information that's worked best for you. Are we talking about my favorite whiskey sour? What is it like a New York? What do you mean your favorite whiskey sour? How much does the temperature of your liquor matter? Quite a bit. I mean, think about serving something hot versus room temperature versus cold. The hotter something is, the more volatile the chemicals are, especially because it's going to be alcohol based. So the more of the liquid will want to readily evaporate or aerosolize into the air. So it will be easier to smell, which means you're going to get a whole lot more flavor the warmer that your liquid is. The opposite of true is true for whether it's like cold. If you have something that's just chilled, it's going to take the heat off, it's going to take some of the bite off, it's going to be more palatable, which is why many cocktails are shaken and or served over ice, because you want them to be cold. The same reason most Americans want their beer to be cold. But if you have a cocktail that is absolutely frigid, it is almost impossible to detect any kind of flavor. Which is why the most common example of this is actually something like a martini. And we're not going to talk about frozen drinks, because it's a whole just web of nonsense. Flowerson, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Long time no see. Indeed, welcome back. I appreciate you showing up. How you been? That's pretty cool. Thanks for answering. I try. I try. Where was I with like cold cocktails? The most ubiquitous example of this is martinis, especially shaken martinis. The reason you want your martini shaken is actually so that you taste less of the things that are in it. Shaking a martini does three things. It makes your martini cloudier, which changes the texture of the drink on your palate. It makes the drink more watered down because more of the ice breaks down when you shake it versus when you stir it. And it's also much, much, much colder. So when you shake your martini, you're actually robbing it of many of the flavors of everything that goes into making it. There's a question from Lucid Dreamer. Is it bad that I like bartenders something? I couldn't see the rest of the comment, unfortunately. Is it bad that I like bartenders' comments or bartenders' streams or bartender stories? We're not going to go into cold drinks. No, I said we're not going to go into frozen drinks. Sorry, I should. We're not going to get into it, I don't think, unless you guys really want to. But a frozen drink is just a drink that's blended with ice rather than being shaken or stirred or built in a glass or rolled. Stories and streams, to be honest. Okay. Cool. To Flowerson's point, it is a not super mature stream. Like, I'm definitely very childish about a lot of things. But we are going to talk about some things that, going to be kind of hard to contribute to a conversation about alcohol, for example, if you were too young to drink. And you're going to hear me swear a lot. But, I mean, you're welcome to stick around and participate. I'm not going to tell you that you need to leave. Is it bad that... That's different. Is it bad that I like bartenders at 14? Nah. I mean, I can't tell you what to like and what not to like, right? I'm not your dad. And I'm not your pope. So, like what you like. It would be weird if, like, you were going out trying to meet bartenders, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what to do with that statement. Do you prefer pina coladas blended or shaken? I would, if I have to have a pina colada, I would rather have it blended because the cream of coconut is so dense and so rich that it actually has to be blended with the ice in order to go into solution with everything else to make it homogeneous. You also need it to, in my opinion, you need it to be blended because the other liquids that you have in there act as bonding agents that keep it suspended in the ice. If you shake your pina colada instead, a lot of the stuff will separate out because the nature and the density of the things that you're working with are vastly different. You have cream of coconut, which is mostly oil-based. That's going to want to separate out from the water content that you have in your cocktail from your ice, which is going to want to separate out from your liquor content, which is going to want to separate out from your citrus content. So in that instance, that drink should be blended if you want to have the whole drink be the same top to bottom. I just like how they do things in the science behind alcohol. Yeah, I mean, I think I was, like, intrigued by, like, mixology and bartenders when I was younger. Great teacher voice, by the way. Thank you. I'd like to think I learned it from Hank Green. Hopefully, maybe. Oh, thank you, Stream Elements. Thank you for that. Oh, I forgot that I moved camera 3. I was wondering why the chat in the back doesn't match up with the chat up there. Oh well. What am I gonna do? I'd like to have a drink in front of me, but to be honest, I really don't feel like having a cocktail. Yeah, same. Yeah, I identify with that. Also, bartenders have, like, a kind of a unique outlook on life because you make good money, you, like, bump into a lot of people, you get to know a lot of people, and you have almost, like, a pseudo rock star lifestyle because while you're not, like, a celebrity exactly, there is an air about bartenders that everyone knows who they are. Because, especially when you've been in the industry as long as I have, and my girlfriend as well, we can't go anywhere. And not by virtue of my social media following, but because of how long we've worked in the city and because of the people that we've met, we can't go anywhere without somebody being like, hey, you made us drinks before, or we used to work together, or hey, did you used to work at da-da-da-da-da? It feels less like being a celebrity and being famous and more like just generally being well known. So it's like, not exactly like being a rock star, but sometimes it feels like it is. Do you game at all? He sure does. I sure do. This is true. I game at least every Wednesday. I wish I could game more, but I try to live stream gaming every Wednesday. We call it We Play Wednesday. He streams some games on here, actually. Yeah, I stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook currently. Yesterday, we played Valheim and then Destiny 2. And I think next week, I'm probably going to end up playing New World because I think it comes out in 5 days. So it should be out before the next We Play Wednesday. Can I roll this? Woo! Not gonna lie, I did not expect that to work. I don't want to make a cocktail, but I do like playing with my tins. It's my favorite thing to do. Boop. Boop. Do you like doing tricks or get annoyed at doing them? I really enjoy doing the things that I get to do here, mostly because here I'm my own boss. This, by the way, is not like a commercial bar. It's not like where I would serve guests and sell drinks for money. This is a studio bar. It's also my home bar. So I'm my own boss in this space. So I don't really have anyone telling me like, hey, like, do a barrel roll, or not a barrel roll, but like, I don't know, spin the bottle 5 times behind your head and like try and do crazy stuff. I just sort of challenge myself every once in a while to learn something new as far as flair goes, whether it's something simple like fanning the tin behind my palm, or like a thumb roll. I don't know what that looks like on camera, actually. Thumb rolls are not hard. Who was it that I saw do it in reverse? Tom Dyer? I also have a flare bottle, which is a little bit more fun to play with. There. I have a flare bottle. I also have 2 glass bottles that I practice with sometimes. Oop, buffer. Ugh, I'm sorry. Woo. The practice bottle is a lot more forgiving. Like, you can almost not really look at what you're doing because the center of gravity is so predictable with a flare bottle. Yeah, I do need to look at what I'm doing when I pass anything behind my back or throw it behind my head. There are certain things I can't really look at, like when I do. First try. Never again. I'm not doing that trick. Going out on top. To be honest, I just like throwing behind your hand. And hold on. And you may need to respell this because I'm not sure what that means. And it goes up and lands in your hand. I don't know what that trick is called. Well, I'm self-taught, so I also don't know what that trick is called. But you mean like, hold on, when you throw it behind your hand and it goes up? Oh, wait. That? Or do you mean like throwing it behind your hand? Like, hold on. Throwing it behind your hand and then catching it right side up. Can I do a same-sided catch? The autocorrect on my phone is stupid. Was I right though when I guessed that I'm pretty sure you meant like when it goes up? Or you mean, hold on, like a push sort of motion like that, or just that second one oh, okay, yeah. I can't, honestly, one of the things I struggle with is anything that involves catching the bottle in like a still motion anywhere that isn't my hand. Ooh. So yeah, that's difficult for me. That and anything that involves bumping the bottle. I can't. The other thing too is that like this is a relatively low ceiling. So you see how my elbow is a little bit above my head? That is the bottle touching the ceiling. That's not me balancing it there. So I only have that much clearance. I have like maybe a foot over my head. Deadshot, what is up? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. It's one of my favorite series of movements to do. Do you like fans asking you for more story times and tricks? Yeah. I mean, with a grain of salt. I enjoy when people ask me for like tricks and stories and stuff like that. But also, like, rarely do I have a story like ready to go in the back of my mind that I'm like, oh, what was the funniest thing to happen? And I'll just be like, well, let me tell you, because like I don't spend that much time thinking about the stuff I used to do in the industry. It it comes and goes where like sometimes I'll be scrolling through my contents and it's comments and it's just the way that somebody asks a question that makes me go like, oh yeah, well there was this one time that I totally forgot about. And I think one of the main examples of this was I had a lot of people that used to ask me, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you behind the bar? And I blanked on it because I'm like, crazy means different things to different people. Like crazy to me may just mean like the most unbelievable thing. Crazy to someone else might mean like the scariest moment or the most uncertain moment that I had behind the bar. Then one day I was reading a comment like that and I was like, oh yeah, well there was that one time where that girl pretended to be her twin sister to get hired and then got fired because she clearly knew nothing about wine. Local tall man, no room for high bottle tricks. I'm not tall. I remember that story. But yeah, so like I just forgot that had happened for a long time until before that I read that comment, one of my coworkers reminded me that happened. And I was like, man, I can't believe I haven't told that story on TikTok yet. And then 2 weeks later, I finally saw another comment randomly scrolling through my phone. It was like, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened? And I was like, oh yeah, there's that story. 6 feet is relatively pretty tall. I don't feel tall. I'm also not positive that I'm 6 feet. I think I might be like 5'11". I think Jacob tried to convince me that I was 6 feet. Me playing Ocean Block. Close enough. You're practically 6 feet. I mean, I feel like the dichotomy that a lot of people assume is that like you have to be one or the other. You are either tall or you are short. I think I'm just like normal sized. I'm not normally, or maybe I just haven't noticed, I'm not normally taller than the like other people that I meet and hang out with. I'm 6'1" and still don't feel tall because everyone I work with is 6 feet or taller. What do you... Wait, Cubics, aren't you bartender or barback? I can't remember exactly. My brain was like, man, maybe he just like works, or maybe it's just where you are, everyone is that tall. Ocean Block is a Minecraft mod pack, apparently. Not currently, I work at Ford. Oh, okay, cool. Actually, my friend Cody recently started his job at Mercedes. He's some sort of technician for them. I don't know. I'm like embarrassed to ask because I feel like I should know more about cars than I actually do. I know like a goodly amount about cars. Mechanically, I know a lot about cars, but like economically, I don't know a lot about cars. You're stuck on an island in the middle of the ocean with mods and special ocean structures. Interesting. Wait, what do you mean you're stuck there with mods? Also, I just realized I never started the music again. So this is a weird time where like I know I'm louder than the music. Why is it so like the music picks up when I speak, which doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody in chat let me know if the music is too loud. Because otherwise it's all I'm going to be thinking about. That's one move I could try and do. I could try and do, oh, like, under the arm, behind the head. It's fine. It's good for me, said Lucid Dreamer. Sweet. Cool, cool, cool. Fun fact, I actually can't hear the music at all. I have it muted on my end, so it's just there for you guys. We used to be able to hear it here, and then I just realized it's a pain in the ass to try and like balance the audio because it would play out of a speaker that's right here, which is right above the microphone. I wonder if I could show it to you guys on camera actually. So, hopefully without moving the camera too much. Oh, I'm gonna bump into the mic cable. That's my microphone up there. And that's the speaker that's right above it, so. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. So the music would play out of here, so some of it would pick up on the back end of the microphone. Do you like your fans coming up to you in public, or has it not happened yet? Oh, I love when it happens. Granted, it hasn't happened often. I want to say maybe a handful of times. I want to say 4 times, but I don't want to have forgotten anybody. I think there were 2 people that came up to me at the City Open while I was bartending. Hey, are you the guy from TikTok? And I was like, yeah. I remember one of them, Brandon, because I was actually like, dude, if you just want to like chill, I'd be cool. I'd be keen to just like sit down after my shift and just talk. That was Brandon. He was really cool. There was a girl who said that who recognized me, but I didn't actually get her name. And actually, her dad came up to me to ask me if I was a TikToker, and I was like, yeah. But like I'd seen this guy for like 3 days every day. I was like, why would you ask me now? And he was like, oh, well, my daughter over there, it's her first day here at the tournament. She just recognized you. And I was like, oh, okay. That's a bit weird because she's clearly underage. But you know what? Whatever. We'll go with it. And then there were 2 people who recognized me when I went to visit Ryan's stand-up set, Youth Pastor Ryan. There were a couple of people who recognized me there. One of them recognized me from my content, and the other one recognized me because I was featured in a piece of Ryan's content before. I had, what did we do? I was on a live stream with him, and then I think later on I was in a TikTok with him. You can't not stop people underage liking your content. I don't think the double negative applies there. I think it's just you can't stop underage people liking your content. Yeah, that's true. I just feel like she probably had a really awkward conversation with her dad afterwards, where he was like, so, why do you follow that guy? What kind of content do you make? He did ask me what kind of videos I made, and I was like, oh, well, I showed him my thing, and I think when he saw how many people follow me on TikTok, he was a little bit less concerned. And then he was like, oh, well, what kind of videos do you make? And I told him, well, I tell stories, I teach people about alcohol, drinking culture, but also like the service industry, what it's like to work in the service industry, things to do, things not to do, that kind of stuff. So I had to like, he wasn't being like aggressive or anything like that, but I did feel obligated to like, not defend myself, but just give a little bit of context, I feel like. I may just need water. Also, this needs to go back in the fridge. I lied, I grabbed a Coca-Cola. You're not that bad for at least people over 13. How? Thank you? I'm not really sure how to respond to that. How old do you think I am, by the way? Just out of curiosity. I don't identify as, like, very old, but maybe too old to be interacting with 13-year-olds directly that I don't know. 28. Oh, that's actually really close. I'll save you guys. I'm 29, but I turned 30 this year. 856. Yep, I'm actually, fun fact, I'm an ageless eldritch horror. And I've actually come here to steal all of your booze. That's my life's goal. Cthulhu 2022. Why choose the lesser of two evil? Is that the next? That's not the next election. I'm an idiot. 2024 is the next election. 1,000. Over 9,000. Should I convert this into a rum and coke? Nah, maybe later. We'll see. What made you get started streaming from Flowerson? Unless you're running for Senate, that's true. I mean, Cthulhu could run for Senate. That's possible. I got started live streaming, actually, this was a long time ago, almost a decade ago now. I started on YouTube originally, and what happened was my friend Jacob and I were very into Destiny 1 when it first came out. We had been playing since the alpha of Destiny 1. And so when the game came out, we were doing really well. He was better at the game mechanically than I was. I was better at, like, narrating and, like, entertaining while we were gaming. So we decided originally our plan was that Jacob would upload clips to YouTube that I would then rip and then edit, because I had gotten a bachelor's degree in film studies and I had some editing software and stuff like that. So we tried that. We had another friend who's Terrell, who goes by Senior Airman, sometimes Neo Firefly on Twitch, who he just decided to stream on YouTube instead. And we saw that his live streams were like backlogged. You could watch all of them. So we decided, why don't we just do that? Why don't we just live stream instead of like meticulously uploading clip by clip by clip and having to remember like every 15 minutes to hit share and record what we just did. And then upload it and make it private, and then I have to download it. It's just way too many steps. So we decided to go into live streaming instead. And that was so easy that we actually didn't really edit anything for a long time after that. We were like, yeah, screw it. People enjoy watching the live stream. We got up to relatively quickly. I think we got up over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube in our first year, which is pretty cool. And at one point we decided to run a test, because up to this point it was a team. It was me and Jake working together to do this. So we decided to run a test, right? We would take 3 people, all with the same setup, and they would all be concurrently live streaming to the same channel. No, you couldn't change the description of your live stream. You couldn't change the title of your live stream. You couldn't add any tags. You couldn't have a camera. Everyone had to have the same mic. So I was one person live streaming. Jake was another person live streaming, and then we had a control group. Our friend Cast, we decided to give them the stream key to the YouTube channel and let him live stream at the same time. All 3 of us, we were all in the same lobby playing the same game. All the chat was the same because we were all sharing our audio. And what happened, at the end of the live stream, we decided to look and see how many people had viewed who. Cast, the control group, the guy who doesn't live stream to our channel, just a random friend that we brought in, had, I think, 3 views by the end of his live stream to our channel, and we had like hundreds of subscribers at that time. Jacob, I think, had 17. He might remember better than I do. And then I had 300. I want to say it was something like 328. So that's when we were like, okay, people aren't tuning in for the gameplay. They're tuning in for the commentary, because that was the only difference. So then we just decided that I would take the reins, and I took control of the YouTube channel after that. And then I think 2 years after that, I decided to completely switch over to Twitch, because I went to TwitchCon and I realized that YouTube is really, or Google, YouTube, whatever, they're really only there to use their creators as billboards and advertising platforms so that they can make money. And I was like, I'm not really feeling that, so I decided to do Twitch instead. I didn't realize Twitch had like terrible discoverability at the time, so we didn't really grow for a very long time here. And then I ended up posting a TikTok, that went viral, and then the rest is history, and this is where we are now. Hopefully that answers your question. Sorry, that was probably really long-winded. What is the youngest fan you've talked to in public, or you don't know? No, I don't ask my fans their age. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, it just feels like a faux pas to ask anybody their age ever. But especially younger people. And like, you shouldn't do it online, you shouldn't do it in person. It's just, I don't know, it's a sensitive piece of personal information. It's for me less to do with like being rude than it just feels inappropriate to ask for that, because whether you tell me that you're 13, 14, 15, 16, unless you look like you're 13 and you're like, actually I'm 26, then I'll be like, whoa, holy crap, let me see that ID. Brandon, I think the fan that I met at the Open, I think was 22. Y'all remember that time I spilled my entire drink on stream? Those were good times. Ah, there we go. Bar rags. Is that glass or sugar? Oh, that's ice. Cool. I'm gonna have to lay 2 bar rags like right here, because it looks like most of the drink actually got launched over the bar. The floor at the bar is carpet, by the way. That's why I'm doing this now and not just like letting it sit, so I can mop it up later. Hey, I do honestly have a question. What made you keep going with streaming? I like the idea of being my own boss. And when I started as a bartender, I realized very quickly that there was... I don't know if you guys can hear me because the microphone's actually behind me. When I started as a bartender, I realized that there is a ceiling to how high you can climb as a bartender, right? You become a bartender, then you become lead bar, then maybe bar manager. After you're bar manager, maybe you get a spot as like a beverage director. But there's never a point where they're like, oh, I guess you get to own the bar now. I guess you've just been here that long. So, and I didn't want to own a bar either. So I was like, I need to figure out how I can continue to do this, but do it on my own terms. And how do I make a living doing that? So when I had the opportunity to go full-time into content creation, doing this stuff, bartending and mixology, and once I knew that I could do it not the right way, but for the right reasons, right? To teach people stuff, to disillusion people as to what it's like in the service industry and like how alcohol and mixology actually work and stuff like that. I knew I had to take that opportunity, so that's why I stuck with it. Slowly dabbing the soda out of the carpet. What is this? Is it worth it for going into streaming? Is what worth it exactly? You spilled it exactly off the mat too. Yeah, none of it on the mat. It all, like, the whole thing. Do I have a good angle for this? Camera 2. The whole thing from here just went and spilled, like, pretty much directly off the edge of the bar. Let the record reflect, by the way, that I did that sober. So you aren't just bouncing. Nope. I'm bouncing with style. Buzz Lightyear style. As in the work for it. Is the work... Still not sure if I understand the nature. Well, more so that I don't know how to answer it in a way that I think will make sense, I guess. Is the work of live streaming worth it? I mean, yeah, but if you're asking if I think other people should try this, or if this is something I think everyone should take a shot at, no, no. If it's something that you think you want to try, I don't think you need everything that I have back here to get started. The first piece of advice, as far as like mixology, content creation, live streaming, bartending, service industry stuff, like whenever people are like, how should I get started? My answer is always, get started. Just whatever you have, whatever you're working with, do that. And if you start doing it with what you already have at your disposal, you will learn relatively quickly whether you love it or not. And if you do love the work, and you love doing this stuff, then you will naturally make plans and you will figure out on your own, and you'll do the research on your own, like, oh, how do I really love live streaming, but like I'm using this little like crappy headset that I got from Best Buy or whatever. What's the next best thing? We could go right back to Best Buy and get a Blue Yeti, but like stuff like that, and you incrementally improve the quality of your content. I think it's part of the reason why I don't tell everyone all of the equipment that I have here, because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, okay, so that's all right. I need a Go XLR, and I don't have a Go XLR here, but I need a DSLR camera, and I need a switchboard, and I need a monitor, and I need another monitor, and I need a really powerful laptop. You don't need all of that stuff. I accumulated all of this after doing content for 7 years, so I've had the time to make the plans to responsibly acquire all of this stuff, and I knew what I was going to do with it before I even bought it. So that's a big thing too. And then if you're talking about like monetarily, is it worth it? Only there are two instances in which like monetarily it's worth pursuing content creation, or streaming specifically. One, the more common version, is that you have enough partnerships, or you have access to enough partnerships that you can cover the cost of production, right? So in this instance, I have the opportunity to reach out to liquor brands and stuff like that, because the market for people creating this kind of content is incredibly small, but the demand is really, really high. People want to be able to talk to their bartenders. They want someone who can answer these questions candidly, and explain them sometimes too clinically, but at least explain some of these concepts and answer some of these questions and entertain and tell stories. The other thing is you have to already have a really large audience. If I had a following of like... Sorry, I have a large audience already. I'm an idiot. I mean on Twitch. If I had a following on Twitch of 1.4 million people, then I wouldn't need to pursue those partnerships and stuff like that, because I could probably subsist on subscriptions and direct contributions from my community. I might be able to do that now, but I don't like asking you guys for money. I like asking these guys for money. All of the liquor brands and stuff like that. Swedish bro, what's up, man? Welcome back, by the way. I was playing Arkham Knight earlier today, and clearly the saying Batman doesn't kill you doesn't really apply, because Batman grabbed some thug by his shoulders and slammed his head in an electrical box. Hey man, sometimes you gotta go for results. Also, that guy's probably fine. I've never met someone who had their head shoved in an electrical box who didn't survive. I've also never met anyone who's had their head shoved in an electrical box, so that's fair. Oh yeah, I have good news unrelated to bartending. Okay, cool, go for it. I'm happy to receive any kind of good news. Batman is really brutal in Arkham Knight. It really seems like he's getting really tired of dealing with criminals. That's fair. An instrument that I put in the shop from the 70s is going to be fixed soon. We thought it might not be fixable. What instrument? From the 70s? That's it. I feel like if you call it an instrument and you don't immediately say it's a guitar. Oh, okay, cool. Tenor sax. Alright, I was waiting for you to be like, it's a theremin or something crazy. Or, what is it? A waterphone? Which I think is from the 70s. Somebody Google that. For me, I started trying to stream, but it's really a bummer because I'm the only person that watches myself, and I don't know what's the best way to get out there, you know? Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely a challenge that a lot of people face, especially when you start live streaming on Twitch, because they don't have any tool for becoming discoverable, right? There's nothing that you can do that will give you an edge on the native to the platform, unless you already have a significant audience, right? They're not going to put you on the front page if you have 1 or 2 followers. They might put you on the front page if you have like 100,000 followers or 1 million or whatever. So at a certain point, it becomes a little bit more competitive. You can become more discoverable. It's easier to climb from like 100,000 to 200,000 than it is to climb from 100 to 200. Probably. I mean, I haven't done it on Twitch, but that's my assessment. Also, connecting with other small streamers isn't a bad idea. That's easily one of the best things that we did when we started on YouTube, actually. And because we'd been playing Destiny for so long, we were actually in touch with a lot of other smaller creators. So, not smaller, not like smaller than us. But like Dean, who we played with last night, Dean and Queen. I'm gonna just start calling them that from now on. They are Australian streamers. Queen's been doing it for, I think, the last... Dean may be in chat, he may be able to correct me, but I think Queen's been doing it for 2 or 3 years now. Dean was doing it for a while before her. I don't think he does it anymore, though. But they were smaller streamers like we were on YouTube, and they just reached out to us like during a YouTube live stream, and they were like, hey, do you guys want to play? And we're still friends with them to this day. They brought a lot of people over to us, we brought a lot of people over to them. So Sorable at the time was a small streamer who raided me one day and actually got me up over 100 subscribers from that raid. When I say he was a small streamer at the time, I mean, I think he had like... I'm probably going to misquote this, but I think he had like 1,300 subscribers. He would remember, CJ would remember better than I do. But yeah, networking, just like... And I know that it's hard, because I don't do it. I ashamed a little bit, but I don't really watch many other smaller streamers unless I happen to raid them after my live stream. I'm so busy that when I have downtime, the last thing I want to do is like see what's going on Twitch. Unless one of my friends is like, hey, like I'm in this live stream or whatever, then I'm like, cool, I'll check it out. I would rather catch up on like the anime that I haven't been able to watch in 2 weeks because I've been watching my daughter and like in full production mode, or I have to write another script or something like that. How do you do a thumb roll? There are 2 ways to do it. You can do it up and down. I don't remember how to do it the reverse, but the way that I do it basically is I keep my thumb here near the bottom of the tin, and then basically you push it out up like this, and then you have to bring your hand back to catch. So the tin, this is deceptive, but the tin doesn't actually travel around your thumb like this. The tin, well, your thumb actually does this motion and comes up the side of the tin, and then you catch it again. So hopefully that makes sense. The other way to do it, So if that's throwing it outward like that, then how do you... Oh, the other way to do it is to roll it over the back of your thumb. Which is a little bit harder to do. Obviously, because I've already dropped this twice. 3 times. Oh my god. Also, I'm cheating because I'm starting with it this way and not upright. That makes so much more sense. Yeah, you're not actually... Because the way that, like, flair bartenders will do the thumb roll so quickly that it looks like it's just traveling around and coming back here. The only way that you could do that is if you dropped your hand and you push it up like this. And then you sort of have to make a show of, like, opening your hand. But yeah, it's a little bit easier to just do it sideways. You can also start with it sideways like this, palm up, and then when you push through, you'll feel how it turns around your thumb a little bit more naturally. That's just my advice. I'm self-trained, so like that's how I taught myself how to do it, I guess. Hey, thanks for explaining a lot of my questions because of the fact I don't know if I should keep going because I do really love playing games and I love showing how I play. Yeah. Before we had people watching us, we started out with like no one watching us, right? Or like maybe 4 or 5 people would watch like in a day, not concurrent viewers, like 4 or 5 from beginning to end of the live stream, and we were 2 of those people. So really, 2 or 3 people watching. 2 or 3 like strangers. But we realized that it's not even just that we enjoyed the game. We enjoyed putting on a show. We enjoyed entertaining, especially me, which is why I ended up taking this and running with it. Jake still wants to do something like this, especially because he... and I as well, he wants his son to have the opportunity to do something like what I'm doing now. Because he'd be well suited to it. Lurk Flowerson, I appreciate the lurk. But yeah, you've got to love the work, and the only way to know if you're going to love it or not is to do it. And you got to do it sooner rather than later, because if you wait until you got the $300 microphone and the $600 audio interface and the $800 or whatever, the $1,000 camera switcher and like 4 DSLR cameras and like you're $10,000 in the hole, and then after like a week you're like, man, I'm tired, I'm beat, I'm gonna give myself the day off today. I've been guilty of doing that sometimes too. You have to be able to fight that and just, get back to loving what you do. It's a little weird how if you go to a restaurant in like Japan or somewhere in Asia and you leave food on your plate, the chef will feel like you didn't get enough food, or they get isn't it the opposite? Anyway, that you didn't get enough food, or they get the idea that the food wasn't good enough, while America is the complete opposite. From Swedish Bro? No, I thought that the tradition in I guess East Asia was that you were meant to leave food on your plate because that meant that you were full. You could not eat anymore, and it was so good that you literally ate your fill. But yeah, in America you were expected to clean your plate. It is rude to not eat everything that is put in front of you, which by the way is like, what an American concept. I'll put it in front of you. You better eat the whole thing. Maybe I could have gotten it wrong. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in East Asia, but in South Korea it was definitely like that. The one exception is that if someone put a drink in front of you, you were supposed to finish the drink. It was considered incredibly wasteful and rude to not finish, like a bottle of soju. But also drinking is like very communal over there. So if you didn't finish it, someone else is supposed to. Hopefully I can have a better mindset for streaming tonight. Yeah, just enjoy the work. And turn off your viewer count. That's a big thing that really helps motivate a lot of people. What is this? Cool. I thought maybe it was Hannah telling me that, hey, I'm outside. Come outside. Come home. I feel like I've earned the right to turn this into a rum and coke. The smallest rum and coke you've ever seen. Actually, the smallest rum and coke I've ever seen were the ones that I used to get at Might As Well when I was in Wilmington. They had $2 rum and coke nights, which is one of the most irresponsible drink specials I've ever heard of. Would you guys watch a live stream of just Jean-Luc and I building Gundam? It's really tricky when there's more than like 4 ounces of liquor, or liquid, I guess, in the bottom of the bottle. There are only so many moves that you can do. Thanks for being super nice about my questions. I hope you'll remember me at least. I try to remember as many people as possible, especially people who have been really active, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna remember you. I had, AdLab was, this happens pretty frequently, but I had, AdLab showed up to the live stream, I think 2 days ago. It was the last bar stream that I did, and he showed up, and he was like, hey, you probably don't remember me. And I was like, no, I remember you. Your name's Adam, I think, right? And I was like, it's either Adam or John. And he was like, no, it's Adam. Wow. Part of it is like a bartender thing where like a lot of your recurring business, we'll call it, it is dependent on how well you can remember people. But also part of it is just that like you guys have made the effort to come here, all the way here, from whether you found me on TikTok or Instagram or wherever. Somehow you found me here and you're making the effort to show up in chat. The least I could do is try to remember who you are. Right? And that's the main reason I do these live streams now anyway. And it's why I don't do like a big social media blast whenever I'm like, going live at 7 p.m. on Twitch, I'm going to be making drinks and getting smashed. Like, I don't do that because I would rather these live streams are more about me answering your questions and getting to know as many of you as possible. Because I can't hope to get to know 1.4 million people on TikTok. That's insane. I don't know if you know Norse I don't know if you know much about Norse mythology, but I was wondering where Valhalla actually is. Isn't Valhalla in Asgard? Or are they two different places? They are two different places. Valhalla is a different realm from Asgard. The same way that Asgard is a different realm from Midgard, which is what we would call like our material plane. So it's like a different dimension, kind of. Their Valhalla is their heaven. So it doesn't actually have like a physical location. When is your next stream? So today's Thursday. So my next stream isn't going to be until Sunday. And I believe we live stream D&D every other Sunday. We skipped last Sunday. So I think this coming Sunday we're going to do a last call stream, which is basically where I show up here. I may have some of the other people that we play D&D with. Jean-Luc might be here. And we're going to be entertaining you guys, answering questions, and making drinks. Nerdy Bread, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. How's it going? But that next stream will be Sunday, 7 p.m. EST. Unless for some reason I need to stream from here. The only other streams that I can kind of like randomly do sometimes is like if I feel like I have a good reason to do a gaming live stream. Because I don't actually live in this house anymore. I do own this bar, but I do not live in this house anymore. Do you ever plan to move from where you live? Don't you live in North Carolina, from Swedish Bro? I do live in North Carolina, and I do plan on moving. Actually, the company that pays me to do this, they are based out of Washington, D.C., and so they are actively trying to relocate me. And I think currently I'm projected to move at the end of January. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see, because it would be like the third time that we've had to move the move. But yeah, hopefully. I think I'm moving closer to D.C. I'm probably going to be moving to Northern Virginia. So that'll be interesting. probably a wider liquor selection because I don't. No, Virginia is locally controlled, but I'll be so close to Maryland and DC that I should be able to have like a much wider selection of liquor and stuff. Is it fine if I have your stream up while I stream? I'm asking because it might mess up and have your stream leak into mine sound-wise. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, as far as quality goes, I wouldn't recommend that you do that because people might get confused. You may have people who tune in who are like, I don't even know what I'm listening to, so I'm just gonna bounce. What is your dream place to live? Mine is Switzerland. I would love to live in Switzerland. Vastly, underrated. So Switzerland is really cool because not only do they have their own native language, but they have regions. There's an Italian region, a French region, and a German region of Switzerland. And they also have their own unique language. And climate there is awesome, right? And there's like skiing and everything. I don't know if I would love to live there because I don't know what like cost of living and stuff like that is like there. And of all of those languages, the only ones that I sort of speak are French and German. And in those languages, the main phrases that I know are "Je ne parle pas français" and what is it? Ja, ich spreche kleine Deutsch. Keine Deutsch. And both of those basically mean no, I don't speak French, and no, I don't speak German. Mine is Hawaii. Hawaii is beautiful, actually, but not underrated. I think like one of the places that I would dream to live, but maybe not live out the rest of my life, would be Vancouver in Canada. I think would be really cool because I speak the language. That's a big thing for me, being able to communicate with people. What is Switzerland's language? I know the main language is German, isn't it? Nope. I believe they have their own native language, but they also, it's not their official language. Their official languages also include German, Italian, and French. Hawaii vibes are very nice, though. I can't disagree with that. My thing, though, is that I feel like if you gave everyone this choice, Hawaii would be very overcrowded. And it's like, the land is so important to the indigenous culture there that it wouldn't feel right for me to live there. Does that make sense? Unless, like, I had, like, something to contribute, which I don't, really. I'm not gonna go to Hawaii and open up a bar unless somebody wants to give me the money to move to Hawaii and open up a bar. Honestly, I have two other dream places I would like to live. I would like to live in Montana or Norway. Why those two places? I think if I had to pick one Scandinavian country, I think I'd probably live in Iceland, potentially. But I've heard their language is very difficult to learn. What's wrong with Montana? Nothing. It's just there's nothing remarkable about it here in the US. It would be like moving to Iowa. That if you're not from the US, that's not going to make any sense. It's basically the middle of nowhere. It's also, is it landlocked? I feel like the climate over there is relatively just the same year round. I don't really have a reason to not go there. There's just not any exceptional reason that you should want to move there, especially when you have places like Hawaii. You know where I'd like to live? I'd like to live on the moon. Elon, make it happen. I'm kidding. I probably hate living on the moon. I feel like your internet would either be amazing or horrendous. The mountains and the open land just look so pretty. I guess you could say the countryside of Montana is really beautiful. There's countryside in lots of places that actually have other things to do. That emote makes you look like a duck. Wait, which emote? Wait, the shot emote? What's your opinion of Seattle? It's better than Montana, for starters. Just rains all the time, but you can always vacation in Portland if you're feeling sad, I guess. Grey's Anatomy happens there. That informs most of my opinion of Seattle. I've not been there. By the way, fun fact, I've not been to Seattle or Montana or Iowa. So what I'm giving you guys is like the generic American concept of what these places are like. Kusamo TV, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. How's it going? Do you like Texas? I mean, I don't have a reason to, I guess. I like Texas as much as I like Maine. I don't know. Or Delaware. I like Texas as much as I like Delaware. Take that, Texas. When I used to be a kid, I always got Seattle, Washington, and Washington, D.C. mixed up. I thought Washington, D.C. was where Seattle was. I think I had the same misconception for a long time when I was a kid, to be completely honest. But also, I'm not from here. So there's that. Nashville, Tennessee is beautiful. That's true. That's true. I will say, though, it feels like when you're in Nashville is one of these places I have actually been to. When you're there, it does feel like if you're not some moving part of the music industry, you don't exist. As a southerner, the South is bad. Well, the South is also different, depending on who you ask. Like, North Carolina is definitely in the South. Charlotte does not feel like it is in the South. By the way, somebody Google this, by the way, as well. I believe Charlotte, which is where I live, is the 7th largest city in the world. You know what? I'm going to Google it myself, because this is important to me. Because I love quoting stuff like this to people. Tokyo, Delhi, Seoul, Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Mexico City, Cairo, Mumbai, Beijing, Dhaka, Osaka, New York. This must be by population, I guess. I'm gonna keep scrolling. Bogota is a larger city than Charlotte. That doesn't sound right. Oh, maybe it's one of the largest cities in the US. Whoops. Washington, D.C. is one of the largest cities in the U.S., so this must be by population. Largest cities in the U.S. Jesus Christ. New York, jeez. These are metropolitan populations as well. New York with almost 10 million people. That's New York City, as in like Manhattan, I believe. Unless you include, I don't know if like Brooklyn and stuff like that is included. Brooklyn, Queens. LA with a population of 4 million. And then in third place, Chicago with 2.5 million. Jesus. And then San Jose with just over 1 million. I thought Charlotte had a... Well, no, actually, I think Charlotte has a population of 600,000. Charlotte is the 15th largest city in the US. So I'm going to start quoting that to people. So I live in Alabama, and I hate that we have a city called Utah. Elite Bro, welcome, thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. How's it going? I thought Houston was like the 4th biggest city. Not in the world, but also not even in the US. I think Houston and there's another city in Texas, because they're not nearly tied, but they are right next to each other as far as largest cities in the world. Houston and Austin, I think. Dallas, it's Houston and Dallas. Thank you. Dallas, though, at this point is basically a city in LA. Or city in LA. A city in California. That joke isn't going to make sense if you're not from Texas. I know that much about Texas and California. Can you name one famous person or not that was born in Arkansas? No, but also I don't really think very much about where people were born. Like, I don't know. You could tell me Adam West was born there, which is not true. Adam West was actually born in Walla Walla, Washington. Look it up, it's a real place. Nicolas Cage. Do you know Nicolas Cage's real name? Because it's not Nicolas Cage. Johnny Cash is from Arkansas? By the way, fun fact, if you're not from the US, it's actually pronounced Arkansas. Also, for anyone who's still wondering, Nick Cage, his real name is Nicholas Kim. If I'm remembering this correctly. Wait, what famous person was born in Mississippi? I thought we covered already that I'm not good at this game. You know what game I am good at? Where is Kansas City? Think about it. Don't think too hard. Think a little bit hard. Because it's not Kansas. No, Kansas City is in Missouri. Welcome to America, where nothing needs to make sense, and hardly anything ever does. Alamba. Petition to rename Alabama to Alamba. I feel like it would be really fun to rename Alabama Old York, because we have New York. And actually, Old York is in Europe, but that's different. There's seriously a town in Texas named Ding Dong. Who thought of that for a town? Abaleba. Can we rename Alabama just Alibaba? That'd be great. I'm sure the locals would love it.
Oh, you make me wanna talk back.
Definitely not a whole lot of Confederate flags suddenly going up. Can rename Vicksburg? Maybe. You know, two things we really should rename? In Virginia, there are two cities that are right next to each other. One of them is Blacksburg, I think, which is where Virginia Tech is. The other one is Lynchburg, which feels woefully politically incorrect. Suddenly, you act like they're not actively flying. I'm picturing more that like they're just like resting there, and then suddenly when they get outraged, it's like a Confederate boner. It just starts flapping in the wind. I'm just Googling the weirdest names, and there's really a place in North Carolina named Why Not? I'm gonna Google that in my free time, because that does not sound right. I've never heard of Why Not, North Carolina. Where is the Mississippi Bridge? Where is the Mississippi Bridge located in what city? Why do I want to say it's in New Orleans or something stupid? Or like Chicago or some, I don't know. Flint, Michigan. It's actually in Tokyo. Actually, the Mississippi Bridge is in Epcot. The old and new. There are two? One wasn't enough. They were like, hey, that old one's pretty good. We should try and go for another one. Mississippi Bridge 2, Electric Boogaloo. UES. You mean like the UEA? Like the United Arab Emirates? Another fun fact, the United States of America is not the only country that uses the term the United States in its official name. Do you know what the other country is? It shares a border with America. It shares a border with the US. But it's funny because we can't call ourselves technically, we shouldn't call ourselves the US because there is another United States of. Bacon level Alabama exists, by the way. Must be a lot of Wendy's there. The United Kingdom. Oh, wait, the Mississippi Bridge is in the United Kingdom? Both of the Mississippi bridges are in the United Kingdom. Also, Burnt Corn, Alabama. That one makes sense. I feel like that's on the nose, though. Nah, I'm joking. Oh, okay, cool. For those of you wondering, the other country that features the term the United States of in its official title is Mexico. Technically, Mexico is not called Mexico. The official name is the United States of Mexico. We only call it Mexico for the same reason that we call the USA America. Because we're lazy. The bridges are in Vicksburg, Mississippi. How did I forget about... I feel like I knew that was the name of a town somewhere. There's another place in North Carolina named Speed. Yeah, that one makes sense. That tracks. Who's controlling the names of places in North Carolina? Clearly it's Ricky Bobby. Going into Louisiana. The longer that you can draw out a single flare movement, the more impressive it looks. Alabama has a lot of really weird city names. Yep, that makes sense. I mean, what is, like, Sister Cousinville, Mother Aunt Town. People from Alabama are going to be pissed. Stepbrother, Cousin Unkleville. Slick Lizard is the name of a town or city in Alabama. Scratch Ankle. Why do we let people do anything? Ha! There are two, by the way, really, no one's asking for this, but there are two secrets to being able to throw something behind your head and catch it. One is to not aim behind your head. Aim next to your ear. And then the second one is to move both hands together, because then, when the bottle transitions over, you should know where it's going to go. Move your hands in front of you first, and then behind you as you toss the bottle. And aim next to your ear. That's why I can put my hand back here, turn, if my hand is next to my ear, and catch the bottle. What is the weirdest law you know? I believe in, what is it, in North Carolina you're not allowed to tie a giraffe to a light post or something? I don't remember what, there is a lot. There are a lot of really stupid ones. What are some really dumb laws that I know of? The president can pardon any criminal in the US. That's a pretty stupid law. For anything. I believe. I bought some practice bottles so I can practice flare. Honestly, it's just like, it's a fidget spinner for adults. That's all it is. West Virginia has a place called Bugger Hole. What are these people smoking when they think of these names? Burnt corn, probably. Hold how you get a giraffe. I don't know, but what's weird is it's not illegal to have one. I don't think so. All of the laws that allow for gerrymandering to happen, those are all stupid. Remember when a certain president said he would just pardon himself of crimes he gets convicted of? Isn't it crazy that that was a statement? By the way, he's talking about President Trump. Isn't it crazy that he said that? Because it is basically an admission of guilt. I forget exactly what the terminology was, but he said, "I'm not guilty, but even if I was, I would just pardon myself." You don't say that unless you're guilty. It's like when OJ released it is OJ if I'm remembering correctly, OJ Simpson published a book saying, "If I did it." Remember when a certain president had to happen before they could make it a law? Also, there was probably a time when it was a little bit easier to pass certain laws than others. The 20th Amendment, I think, is also stupid. I think it's the 20th Amendment. It's the one that put in place prohibition. Nearly, yeah, just about finished my cocktail, like, right on time. That's cool. Found out something about Twitch on from Lucid Dreamer. Twitch hates the word simp. What? Why? Get banned for it. That doesn't sound right. If for some reason I was going to Vermont, I'm going out of, even Vermont has stuff. Vermont has like cheese. I'm going out of my way to avoid Mosquitoville. That's a real place there. I don't know why you would name the place that. There's a lot of really small mosques. Or a lot of really short Muslims. 20th wasn't prohibited. Then is it it's not the 18th. Is it the 19th then? That was the I thought the 18th Amendment was the age to vote. Hey man, how are you? Robo Knight, welcome. Thank you for tuning in and showing up in chat. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. This is sort of the tail end of the live stream, though, I will admit. I thought it was the 20th because I thought the 21st Amendment established the drinking age and overturned prohibition. Now I want to know. Now I want to Google this. Constitutional amend. There we go. I can spell. Yeah. All that good stuff. Yeah. It's the 18th Amendment. And the 21st Amendment is the repeal of the 18th Amendment. Well, I'm gonna go do dishes, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it back, but love the stream, and it was nice talking to you. Lucid Dreamer, thank you for tuning in, sticking around, and asking some thoughtful questions. I do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night, man. I will probably not be here, because I'm about to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes. Guys, everyone, thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. Thanks for all of your help and support. Hopefully I've been helpful and supportive for you all as well, since that's why we do everything that we do here. My next live stream is going to be Sunday, 7 p.m. EST. It's not going to be a D&D stream as far as I'm aware currently, but I may change those plans if certain things fall into place. Until then, there's going to be a new YouTube upload tomorrow. It's going to be part 3 of the series on the martini. So it's going to be making our signature version of the martini style cocktail, so you guys should tune in for that. I actually make a signature cocktail from my existing book. I was glad I could make it to a stream. So really quick, I'm going to try and find somebody that we can raid here on Twitch, because I do have a couple of extra minutes. Not Hassan, he doesn't need anybody to raid. Why does that sound familiar? Who are you? No way. Who are you? I haven't raided Girl Thulu in a while. Yeah, so we'll raid her. Swipe over to chat here. / raid. You have a book? I do have a book. I have a cocktail book that's been, well, it's an ebook, but it's been published. It's nothing crazy. You can find it in the merch store if you use the merch command. It's, I think, it's less than 20 pages, but it's only like 14 or 15 recipes. I think, and then there's an underscore. What a terrible username for SEO, by the way. I need to tell her that. I can't tell from here if the command is going through. Thanks, man, for being super nice. Yeah, of course. I try. I mean, I also try and break the stigma that bartenders are all self-important, egotistical dickheads. In fact, I am fully willing to admit that I'm wrong most of the time, probably. I just do what works for me. I spout the knowledge that's stuck with me over time, but you don't have to take my word as gospel. In fact, you shouldn't. Do your own research. But anyway, guys, everyone, thank you for tuning in, sticking around. Again, Girl Thulu is a friend of mine. I've rated her a few times already. She, currently, she does a lot of, like, rebuilding and fixing, like, consoles and PCs and stuff like that. Sometimes she does some of that on stream. She's also on TikTok. And currently, though, she is gaming. And she's really good about, like, actually interacting with chat, like looking at chat, saying hi to everybody, remembering people. So that's why I like rating her from time to time. So join me here in rating her. It's completely optional. You opt in or you don't. If you don't opt in, you can reach me any other time of the day, any day of the week by DMing me on Discord. Please do not DM me on Instagram. I have to scroll through a bunch of business stuff to find your DMs on there. So, rating her now. Next live stream Sunday, 7 p.m. EST. Thanks everyone for being here. I'll see you all later. Good night, everyone.